We are back with Drew Barrymore. She's our first live in-studio guest since the pandemic began. And as we mentioned earlier, her daytime talk show has been renewed for a second season. It is produced by CBS Media Ventures. Drew also announced she's expanding her empire by launching a lifestyle magazine called Drew. And we're so glad you're here at the table. But Drew, I have to share this. This just came to me because I wore this flower in your honor. And when I walked in, Jared on camera 5, the jib said, "Oh, a Drew Barrymore flower." I go, "That's why I'm wearing it." Jared watches. You can tell by his fashion design. He's keeping up with you. So I got this. It says, "Gayle, I don't like that flower on your shoulder. It looks like an open orange wound. Just saying."
Man.
Good morning, Tyler Perry.
Oh, man.
Well, he's funny.
Tyler, Drew has a flower too, so I did it in your honor. Hopefully you like it.
I love it, and I noticed
like it
right
too.
away. And I'll, like the yellow mic, I'll come bring you some flowers. But I like that Tyler's watching. Hi.
But I did this in your honor. But listen, congratulations to you on season 2, because I know how hard that is. But I want to talk about season 1 for a second. Is it harder or easier than you thought? Did you ever doubt while you were doing the show?
Well, luckily, I was getting to know you. You were kind enough to do the art of the interview with me, which was I wanted to have a series of conversations before I even launched the show with people that I respect so much. And then I happened to be partners 25 years with Nancy Javonin, who's Nancy Fallon, married to Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of experienced voices that I trust telling me this is harder than you'll ever imagine. And a part of me, I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm a little rebellious. And I was like, you know, I've been working since I was in diapers, and you're not realizing my work ethic.
Yeah.
And I'm self-generated, I'm tireless, and I've got this. I know what crazy work hours and building,
and
you know.
what happened? How did you handle it? What happened?
I cried in my bathroom several nights, wondering what I had done to myself, because a part of unraveling myself out of movies was because I wasn't happy with the hours that when I go to work at 4 a.m. and come home at 11 p.m.
For family life.
That wasn't okay for my kids. And I stopped working for many years because I wanted to be a mom that raised her kids. That was front burner. There was no exceptions for me.
So you felt overwhelmed and literally it drove you to tears?
Yes, I thought, oh no, I've gotten myself back into that 4 a.m. to 11 p.m. schedule.
Yeah,
and
hours are brutal, yeah.
Going for 6-7 months in a row. It took us almost 2 years to build this show. You don't know if you're going to get a season 2. We just found out last week. And you have to tell yourself, like, you're building all of this not knowing if there's a future in it, but everything is a building block that will bring knowledge and something learned later. So you can't do it for a reason. You have to do it because it's important to do it. And
but now you feel what?
Relieved.
Okay.
Which is the most underrated emotion ever. It's relief doesn't sound sexy, but it is.
Yeah, I don't know. Every time you get a negative COVID test, I feel relief.
Yes.
And that's sexy.
Yeah. Can we get that reported? That's unique. The on-screen star of my youth is just saying that that's something I said was sexy, Gayle King.
I got it.
Right.
That's right. It is.
So the talk show's getting picked up for season 2. That's huge, number 1.
Also, you know.
But this is what people say, but Drew's so happy. She's so upbeat. Saturday Night Live did a parody of you.
Oh, that happening in the beginning because.
And I'm like, is that a bad thing to be happy and upbeat?
You and I texted.
Yes.
And you said, I think it's safe. You're good. I think it's going to be okay. And Nan and Jimmy texted me, and they were like, this is great. Because it's Saturday Night Live. I hosted for the first time in 1982. I've hosted 6 times. It's an institution to me that I was raised in. It's very reflective of the show. We have Drew's News. I'm a news junkie.
Yeah, I'm a news junkie. Yeah.
Business always. Weekend Update, satirical news is my bag. I love it. And I love the news in general. I love being informed. But I do like finding the good stories, and we have to do our civic duty to know everything that's happening, but we have to find the positive too. So that's my spin on it. But yeah, I was spiraling on the SNL because at the same time, in all transparency, I was getting calls from station managers across the country going, what is this show?
They were?
Yes. They were like, what is this creature that has popped out of the box by herself alone in the studio in the middle of a pandemic? Everybody's losing their mind. What is this? So when the Saturday Night Live came out, I was like, is this gonna be a nail in the coffin for me with these people? And it was actually exactly what you and Jimmy said. It was the start of, this is okay. And launching in a pandemic was such an unorthodox thing.
Yeah.
And the energy of the world was wild. And so to pretend it didn't feel authentic. I leaned into it, which I think was a little nerve-wracking for people. You're learning on the job. And as much life experience as I had where I could put into this job, I'm still learning. And I have a lot of energy and excitement and enthusiasm for this, but a lot of humility knowing that
when those station
I'm in a new
managers,
job.
when those station managers called and said, "What is this new show?" How did you answer? Because I'm sure there are people watching right now who have not seen the show and they're wondering, what is this new show?
I said, what I really care about, because for whatever reason, I'm obsessed with business. And I said, you talk to me, I will talk to you. We're finding our way. We're doing a show with no guests, no audience.
Yeah.
It's really just me.
Yeah.
And that's odd. And that's a new format. And I'm working with it too. And we're finding our way. And we listened to them and we worked and a lot of the people that I know who are in talk shows say that first year you're really rearranging the chessboard and moving the pieces around and getting rid of an idea you swore was going to work and it's not, or something you weren't that excited about is like weirdly gaining momentum.
You probably know this word pivot. Sometimes you just have to pivot and figure it out on the fly.
Yes.
And it seems like you're now settling into a groove and getting your rhythm, and you seem really okay with how it's going.
I do not cry anymore at all. I'm in such a happy state. Work is my happy place. Work is the place that I'm the least stressed, which is bizarre because uplifting and launching a national daytime talk show, putting out an hour of television every day is the complete juggernaut that everyone said that I was like, no, I've got this. And I was like,
hard.
oh, I don't have this. This is way harder. And it was very humbling.
It's hard, whether it's dating, talk shows, just know it's hard out here for a pimp, Drew Barrymore.
I do,
very
indeed.
difficult. Leading to you, we had a clip from E.T., which never gets old to me. And so we were talking about movies, Adriana, Tony, we like Drew when she did da-da-da-da-da. Do you ever think about acting anymore? You're launching a magazine.
Yes.
Now you've got a talk show. Is acting just now done and done for you?
It's not done and done. I always get weirded out when people are like, this is the farewell tour. I'm like, why? Don't do that. Like, what if you want to come back? Then is it a mea culpa? Now this is the farewell tour?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what the future holds. Every time someone said, what's your board vision for 5 years? I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But tell me what the next year is. I can map it out for you perfectly. I also was trying to build behind the scenes of this show a cookbook, a magazine, another line, Beautiful. I have Flower, and I'm sort of building this all up. And I know that the show could be integral to all of that. But still, I just kept going, saying, I'm just putting one foot in front of the other. I'm building this.
You're doing a cookbook, too?
Yes.
You are?
Yes.
There's a lot of announcements. We knew there were going to be surprises.
Yeah.
We teased them. We got, I think, 3.
A cookbook, okay.
I think that I would be in a straitjacket if I didn't have all these buckets that I could fill. I have so much going on inside of me, which is why I thought rebelliously I can handle a show like this. I have so much inspiration. On my tombstone, it's going to say Death by Inspo.
And raising 2 daughters. Hello to Olive and Frankie, doing that too.
And that comes first. Yes. That is on the front burner of everything I do.
Drew Barrymore, we thank you. The Drew Barrymore Show, by the way, airs on your local stations around the country. If you're watching us here in New York, it comes on right after us. Check your local listings. We'll be right back.
Thanks.